Good morning. Today we will study a new poem, The Lake Isle of Innisfree by William Butler Yeats. So about the author William Butler Yeats. He was born on 13 June 1865 and he was an Irish poet and he was one of the foremost figure of the 20th century literature. He was a pillar of both the Irish and British literary establishments, and he found the Abbey theatres, and in his later years he served as an Irish senator for 2 terms, and he was a driving force behind the Irish literary revival along with Lady Gregory and others. So first of all, let's start with the introduction. So this is a poem that is of 12 lines and it comprises of 3 quatrains, and it was written by William Butler Yeats in the year 1888. So this is a lyric. Lyric is a musical poem and it explores the poet's longing for peace and tranquility of Innisfree. Innisfree is a place where the poet spent his time where he spent his childhood, and the Isle of Innisfree. Isle here refers to the island. So this Isle of Innisfree, it is an uninhabited island with Logill in the county Sligo in Ireland. This is the place, Ireland is the place where William lived. He did spend his summer when he was a child. So every summer he used to visit this place, Ireland, and when he grew up, he just wanted to escape from urban life for a rustic settlement, as he is reminded of his childhood days spent in his maternal home. So children, now I'll read out the poem and explain you the difficult words also. So let's start with the first stanza. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honeybee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. So now, in this, let's discuss the difficult words first. Arise means to stand up, to get up. Innisfree, it is a place that is near the coast of Ireland, as I told you earlier. Cabin here, it refers to a small shelter that is made of wood and clay. Wattles refers to the twisted sticks, and these twisted sticks, they are used for making fence, walls. Glade refers to an opening in the forest or the woods, and bee loud here refers to the buzzing of the bees. So now I'll explain you this first stanza. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree. So now here I refers to William Butler Yeats. So I here refers to the poet. So now in the first line, the poet, he repeats the word go. So he is just expressing his determination that he wants to go to Innisfree. So he just wants to stand up, he wants to get up, and he just wants to be there in Innisfree. That is a small island in a lake called Logill in Sligo County, Ireland. And a small cabin built there of clay and wattles made. So now what he says is, so he now says that he just wants to be away from the mechanical life. He just wants to be away from the urban life for a more rustic settlement, and he is reminded about his childhood, that where he spent his childhood like it was in his maternal home. So he's just expressing his desire that he just wants to build a small cottage, and he wants to build that cottage, the small cabin that he wants to build. He wants to make it with clay and wattles. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for honey bee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. So now he just plans to build a small home for himself. He wants to build a cabin that is made of clay and wattles, and he just intends to lead a very simple life when he's there in Innisfree. So what he thinks is, like, he also wants to have a garden with 9 beans planted in a row, and he also wants to have a beehive for the honeybees. So he says that he will survive. He just can have the beans that he had planted, and he can also have the honey from the beehives that will be there. So the speaker, he informs that he just wants to live alone. He wants to be surrounded by the sound that is made by the bees, and he wants to be surrounded by the beauty of the nature, and he wants to be surrounded by the buzzing of the bees in the glade.